What is going on today? What, another one? Another one? Ladies and gentlemen, slimes and dimes of my hip-hop crimies and crimettes, welcome back to the couch. Welcome back to the channel. We are here to react again to, my favorite dudes out here on the podcast net that be just caping so hard. Rory and Mal. We are here for Rory and OVO Mal. And Rory and OVO Mal are here to react to their diss song. And the song that dissed the industry, dissed their boy, dissed academics, dissed however you want to peel back this song. Because I know a lot of people feel like he wasn't just dissing Drake, which, once again, he wasn't dissing just Drake, but people are just trying to act like he wasn't either. And I'm just like, alright, dog, like, which one is it? Like, did he go out the industry and then, like, he's just leaving Drake alone? Like, no, he's talking about everything. Because then some people are like, well, he's also talking about the things that Drake embodies. And, well, nigga, he's talking about Drake then at that point, right? You know what I'm saying? And then everything else involved in that. So, before I ran into that, man, we just gonna hop right into good old Rory and Mal. Talking about the party must die.
But I couldn't tie anything, and it's crazy that now we got to listen to every Kendrick release with an ear to see if he's talking to or at Drake. But I didn't take any of these bars as a direct shot to Drake.
What about to you?
I think it.
So I'm already a little mad because it's like, it goes back to like, yo, these dudes keep falling for the trap, B. You know what I'm saying? Rory and Mal, you know what I mean? And fucking academics keep falling for the trap because then they push this other narrative where it's like, now what you're saying is like, we're going to go check for Kendrick only to see if he's dissing Drake, when like, that is not the case for Kendrick Lamar. Like, dudes will listen to the song because dudes want to hear it. But because of when you listen, you know what I'm saying, you're going to catch certain shit. But every drop, I guarantee you, is not going to be him dissing Drake. And nobody that's really either a Kendrick fan or somebody like me who just likes the music. Like, I heard it. I knew the song was, I knew people told me, but I didn't go into it being like, is he going to be dissing Drake? I went into it, listened to it. I was like, oh shit, I'm a little boy. But then I heard it and I was like, oh shit. So like, it's not like I'm going to listen for Drake. I'm just like, oh, word, he's dropping music. So that narrative that they're already trying to create falls right into, they're pushing this stuff, dog, like right into watch the party die.
Definitely not.
4+4.
I would.
We have Ram Radio.
Oh,
he talked about radio personalities.
Yeah, that is true. But no, I didn't take. Somebody had hit me and was like, "Yo, he's talking to all of y'all podcasters." I was like, I mean, if you feel like that, cool. But
they sound different today.
Overall, the message in the song I thought was
y'all
cool.
energy at B.
I actually feel like a lot of it is what you preach daily.
Yeah,
this whole thing felt like you could have written it from pod form.
It's like a Mal manifesto.
Yeah, that's the irony of this entire thing.
Because I mean, I understand what the message he's saying. Like, we need to start talking about addressing more serious things. Shit in the community. We partying all the time. Like, for what? Like, it's real issues going on. Drug addiction that's killing people in our community. Rest in peace, Rich Homie Quan recently passed from drug use. And it's just, it's the message is what I was, I was happy to hear. Like, okay, like, I'm not mad at him putting that in the ecosystem right now, especially coming off of the whole beef thing. It's kind of like, we got other real shit going on that we need to address in our communities.
All right. I mean, they're talking about the other stuff in the song, which I respect. And that's a real thing that happened in the song as well. Respect.
So yeah, for that, I listened to it.
You
and
sound
I
real
okay,
different
like,
today, though.
I would have been really shocked if this was another direct shot at Drake. I would have been like, coming off there's no round twos, and then.
So we all know it's not direct. I'm sorry for pausing this shit, but like we all knew no direct stuff was coming after that. It was gonna start turning back into what we all know from once Drake did No Face. Because we always forget that No Face happened, or some people out there, we're not going to say we, I'm sorry to categorize and generalize, but some people tend to forget that No Face and the other shit with 21 or whatever that came out as well too, where it just turned back into the subliminal games again. I don't believe it's anything that's going to be direct, so no, they're not going to do that, but he's going to take it's going to be the subby games again. It's going to be the like, oh, he might have been talking about Drake, or that's affiliated with Drake, but once he's not saying names and all that, which, I ain't gonna lie, it does kind of contradict if he is as well, because, if he's gonna catch flights, he's gonna be direct. But, that's just me being a person who listens to the music and just peels certain things back a little bit, so it is what it is.
Now you drop this, and, I just was like, I was happy that it wasn't that I do respect the message. I do respect, what he's talking about.
But he's
and
still dissing
what
y'all,
he's
dog.
trying to bring light to
He's still coming
in
at
these
y'all.
bars. But yeah, this is Kendrick, man. We all know this is what Kendrick does best, when he's really rapping and putting bars together.
Interesting.
But the message, watch the party die.
Which
What does that mean? Does that mean that, we should start taking things more serious? Let's stop acting like there's not issues going on. We can't keep masking our trauma with, lifestyle, partying, drugs, and, buying nice things, which is all,
and not
true.
to say that partying and material items have never not been part of hip hop since its inception.
Shit, that's just part of life.
But it has felt like hip hop, as a reflection of society, has leaned very, very much into prescription drugs, and that in itself has trickled down into pretty much what.
So this actually goes into, I have a very curious question to ask people out there, as far as just, and I had this conversation with somebody, so excuse me if I'm having a long-winded moment right now, but with that being said, with just the influence of drugs and all this stuff like that, who do we think is the cause or the influence of all of that? Now, I know drugs and all of that has been a part of the hip-hop socials and community for a while, but who's the face of that? And like I had a conversation with a buddy of mine, and he raised a valid point, and I couldn't not agree with him. Like, is Lil Wayne the face of all of that? Because you think about it, and this even ties into Nicki ranting off about, Lil Wayne not doing a Super Bowl, and just how he's influenced all these rappers to, dread their hair, lock their hair, face tattoos, and just some of the positive things, which she's not wrong. But we also forget that huge other side of it, where like a lot of rappers who were influenced by that were also doing the drugs, doing the lean. We've lost a lot of people because of that. So it's like, is Wayne the face of that? I have a really valid question for those of you out there listening, whoever this may reach. Like, is Lil Wayne the face of what Rory's about to get into, as far as just the drugs and all of that, when it comes to just how heavily used it is and promoted in the music? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Everything Kendrick is addressing in this entire thing. The party, I think, being the industry and the culture to some degree. And most of that is leaning on drugs, and you can hear it in the music. Not to say that there's not good positive music out there, and not to say there hasn't been bullshit before, but it feels like the stuff that's being pushed
A lot more. It's
specifically
been
right
like that
now
for years.
is based off ops, gangs, and fentanyl.
Yeah.
So
It's a very destructive energy.
I know a lot of people get upset at the person sitting on the soapbox preaching, and like, who are you? Who are you allowed to preach to us for? Like, what's your background? But I respect that Kendrick, at a time when he probably has the most eyes on him that he's ever had, coming off that beef plus the Super Bowl announcement, instead of doing something that would really benefit your career, more of a friendly song, even if it was positive, but more of a bop, if you will, or an album or something to really push your streams, put out a very damn near no drums message when you had
Right,
all
you
the
gotta
eyes
listen to
on
the
you.
words.
Yeah.
I respect it.
Damn, I'm actually agreeing with these dudes again. Like, it's not always all negative, and everybody's entitled to their opinion. I just, this is a good one today. Like, I'm surprised that they're taking this right. I know they're kind of avoiding a lot of the other bars right now, but that's okay, because they're talking about the overall message in the song, and like, there's Roy's spot on. You know what I mean? Like, this is why I love when Roy leads the segments, because he has both of those. And like, once again, Kendrick could have, and this is, well, let me go back a little bit. So it's funny how people have been saying that Kendrick, and this is the internet, people, obviously, and the internet's not a real place, but when you see people genuinely feel or think that way, trolling or not, it's like, you have your main guys who are the Drake All-Stars saying that like Kendrick is a person who's trying to bring stuff together in the culture. So it's interesting that these guys can see that, and these guys can kind of say, well, I'll say Roy is saying that, but like, it's funny how people are just like, he's doing the opposite of what the people that are in the industry are saying. So it's interesting. That's all.
Some people wanted to hear either Not Like Us Part 2, an album, another diss record, but I appreciated when the spotlight's on, this is how you decide to use your platform.
Yeah.
I think it's amazing.
I'm the initial, the blanket statement, damn, this shit snooze fest, good, it's just mid, trash, whatever. I think the people that are saying that's the critique Kendrick's trying to implement. I think he's assuming the role of redirecting the priorities of what hip hop is and restoring it to what Rory said earlier, the foundation of what Maul loves to preach so much about, the integrity and moral aspect, which has clearly been lost in the current state of hip hop over the last however many years. So, and he dropped this, which I think is great. So the VMAs aired last night.
Had no idea.
Yeah,
That's just
he released.
That's interesting that they say this, but their favorite guy does not embody that or does not preach that in really any of his songs. It's kind of like exactly what Kendrick is talking about and exactly what people say that he's talking about what Drake embodies. So like, I'm real confused right now, but I'm agreeing with what they're saying. But I'm just in my mind, I'm like, y'all had different energy before this "Watch the Party Die" shit. Just like did what they are doing to you guys right now, sounding real defeated. I'm just gonna put that out there.
This song at the start time of the VMAs, which I think was intentional because we're celebrating the very people that he was most likely talking about throughout this song. But
Harris is quiet right now.
I think it's obviously it's put in song form, but I would implore people to just read the lyrics because I think it reads more of like a sermon than a song. And I know people are like Kendrick's whatever, he beats his girl. Kendrick's not perfect. Nobody in hip hop's perfect. Kendrick can still be an.
All right, dog. This kind of goes into like my other reactions in regarding this beef of like we run with that narrative, but like as much as people want to be like Kendrick rapped about a fake daughter, Drake literally rapped about fake domestic violence and a fake I'm forgetting the word off the top of my head, but basically like paternity shit. You know what I'm saying? Like he's basically saying that like he's implying that his wife or his girl, whatever you want to say, is a hoe. He was implying that his man's backdoored him, which happens a lot, but like he implied that with no facts, and it's like I don't like how he just had to say that again, and it's like none of these things have been proven at all. But for some reason we're riding with these things. I haven't seen if there's things in the links like, and we're talking about his girl. I know I've seen those things where like there's a couple of articles whether they're real or not, where it's like I think it's the famous one that we keep seeing is like Kendrick leaves woman bloody in Vegas and just leaves or something like that. I don't know how true that is. And I don't know what that is trying to do for like the narrative of what we're talking about, which is that he's put his hands on his woman and et cetera, et cetera. Like, I don't know what's going on with that, but it's funny how like we try to act like one thing's not facts and the other one is. So that's another thing. Like, I don't like that with this team.
Asshole or a piece of shit for that act for something bad that he did, but it doesn't negate this type of messaging and this type of like product that also I think is extremely important and needs to be shared more in the hip hop community.
I mean,
I love this record.
It's
That's a shock too.
Now, not to get it twisted, there are artists that have been and always have pushed this message.
Oh hell yeah! Kendrick didn't invent this.
I just think it's dope that
at the time that he has his biggest spotlight he's ever had on him, he chooses to do this.
Yeah, and I'm not mad at that. I mean,
Kendrick's preached shit his whole career.
Absolutely. So I'm not mad at that. It's just I think the timing of this type of record is what kind of threw people off, but I understand why. Like you said, him having as many eyes and ears on him, his him streaming as high as he's streaming right now. Whenever he drops something, this is the type of message he chose to put in that ecosystem and have message. People talking about it, whether good or bad, whether they call it a snooze fest, trash, whatever they want to call it.
Sometimes we need to leave the party and go home for a second, regroup.
He just want that message to get out there. So this was a pivot that we didn't expect.
Dog. I love it.
I understand it. I understand why he did that, and this is what Kendrick does. This is a message that he always tries to put in his songs or in his albums at some point. So it's on brand for him. It's not nothing too far away from what Kendrick has always done.
And even though I do love this, and this is more in my bag when it comes to hip hop, I still love party music too. I still love some of that drum shit, but there needs to be some balance. Like I feel like the balance has just shifted drastically. Yeah, there's still a lot of positive shit, but it's just out.
Like you said, the radio is pushing propaganda, things like that. Like it's big money in trauma and death.
And what's crazy is that like this is the same, and I know they not I'm going a little off, but this goes to the same thing for female music as well too. Like I know DJ Vlad and Tony Yayo were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. I did a reaction to that because DJ Vlad fooled me. I thought J. Cole was avoiding a nuke, and they talked about it, but at the end, but like they talked on female rap and like. My opinion on the state of female rap is that like there's not enough of the positive stuff for females being pushed. It's more the same thing that they're talking about as far as the males. Like it's ass shaking, eat this, put this face in this, butt juice and all this crazy stuff. And then it's like with the dudes, it's just shoot 'em up, gang, you know what I'm saying? It's the demon raps, which once again, like Roy said, like I love all that too, but like it's overly saturated with that, and then you don't get enough of like the good vibes and the positive message songs, because once again, like Julian's point, when you get dudes that say this stuff is trash, it's a snooze fest, because most people's minds and brains are just so equipped to just hear one thing that they don't want to hear anything else. And this goes back to like people don't like listen to the words and short attention spans, and that's what that music is.
Drug use in our culture, like there's companies put big money behind those type of messages. So I understand what Kendrick is doing, but we gonna always party in hip hop. Let's not get that twisted. This is hip hop at the end of the day.
Kendrick's last song before this was a party record.
Exactly.
One of the lyrics I wanted to point out that stuck with me, even on the first listen, I've since listened and read these so many times since, but this line: if you parade in gluttony without giving truth to the youth, the graveyard is company. Just tell us what casket you choose. That is that. If I were to single out one line from this song, it would be that is like the ethos of what this record to me.
You gonna get that tatted?
Is.
And I love the follow up of the line after. You party more than bitches. Tell me what are you working for?
Yeah.
Yeah,
and obviously the party is not alluding to, it's the party meaning hip hop, meaning the genre, the system. It's not, a P&D sub.
Or corporate and street shit. He covered
it's such a layered song.
All facets of what the culture is and the industry is right now. But I mean, if anyone felt a way outside, like if this didn't fall in your ears and this just isn't your type of music, cool. That's your taste.
Yeah.
But if you were like offended by what he was saying,
might be part of the problem.
Maybe this was
might be part of the problem, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you was offended by this, anybody offended by this is like...
If you were looking like, man, what the fuck is he even talking about? He's talking about you.
You're the problem.
You're the person.
You're part of the problem. I mean, but again, it's a pivot. And I'm just glad because again, once we saw the artwork and somebody in the group chat said, I was like, wait, I thought it wasn't no round twos. Like now we back to...
I mean, the artwork kind of does tell it all.
Let's remember
He's being subby.
How strategic Kendrick was in the first round. I'm not saying this is a diss record or part of a second round. Or even bait, per se.
I think it's a setup or something.
But I'm sure it's attached to some bait if need be.
Yes.
This is connected to something if somebody feels like getting froggy.
Thank you.
No, I mean, Kendrick is an MC. Like, he's
Roy,
always...
This is why I bang with Roy, because Roy really be involved with... Like, I know I'm about to just keep skipping over, but, like, I really do respect and bang with Roy. Maul, I don't know about Maul, man, like, to be real. Like, every time I really be watching Maul, man, I really don't know what to get out of him. And this one, he's not so bad for me. Like, he's hitting some points that I actually agree with, even though I feel like he's kind of skipping over a lot of things. And I feel like they both are in their own sense, but at least Roy's doing it in a manner where, like, he's still covering certain things. I think Maul is just skipping a lot right now. And it is what it is. I think I just have a bias on Maul right now because Maul just did a lot of nasty things over, like, the course of the summer and just with this battle. But Roy's hitting great points right now, man. Like, this is a setup for something if need be. Or it's just a setup for how he may be strategizing just to roll up with something else. I did say this in my last reaction, whether it was he was dissing or not, he was setting up for something. And I honestly think, once again, I'll say this again, I think that was just a throwaway because the cover art just adds up to what everything else looked like for me in round one or whatever you want to talk about. So I think this was more or less of like just a throwaway and something to put out there that puts the nail in the coffin on what already had happened in this battle. Like, and that's why I think it was also more subby and stuff. I don't think he just made that after the Super Bowl where I think he had that in tuck and he was just like, fuck it, I'll just put it out there. That's just honestly how I feel.
Be prepared for that part of...
I'm saying, this is a loose seed now, but it could be tied in the event that somebody would want to drop something. No, I'm sure there'll be a continue on.
Kendrick has shit waiting to go if need be, if he feels like it's necessary. I just think right now he's looking at it like, like, all right, cool. I got this, this amazing, momentum right now. Everybody's looking at me. Everybody's, and anytime I drop something, they're going right to it. This is what I want to put out there right now. I want to put this message out.
The genius of it, it's kind of bulletproof if we're putting this within the battle world. If Drake even kind of alludes to this even existing, it looks like he took it personal. Like this was about him.
Yeah.
That's why this shit is bulletproof to me. Because Kendrick be like, wait, I was not talking about you at all. Where do you see anything about you?
Right.
But we know.
Yeah, I didn't.
And if you do, then all right, man. What's up with you then?
What's up?
So I just see. I'm waiting for that. We gonna wait and see with that. We gonna wait and see.
Yeah, people just gotta, again, I think because it's still the battle is still kind of like
still fresh,
lingering and fresh. I think people are just.
Plus, your man just said no round twos before that.
Seem like, oh, he's talking about Party Next Door, and he's talking. It's like,
nah, I didn't.
I'm just saying. I see
don't think
people
that-
online.
that's wild.
People online was saying that, and I'm just like, all right, man.
But
Y'all
I think that's
stretching,
the
that's a
miss.
reach.
I think a lot of people are just looking for the literal and the surface.
Yeah.
And
It's
I
a
think
layered song,
what
dog.
makes this brilliant is Kendrick's clearly angry, and he's been angry. But now his anger isn't targeted at a single person; it's targeted at the system. And he's,
But Drake's the
I
head of that
think,
still.
you know, when
It goes
most
back to
artists
that.
get angry, they're mad at another rapper and they attack each other. And unfortunately, a lot of times when rappers attack each other, someone ends up dying. Kendrick doesn't want, I don't think he's calling for harm on any single person. He's calling for a change.
He literally
of the
said
system.
that he was going to find all the radio personalities as corpses. He was
that.
talking to you. He wants you dead.
Sure.
Like I want their family and
No, but I just think it's really
wild.
awesome for him to challenge
He wants them to be disturbed.
the so-called like the faces behind the scenes, like the thems of the industry, rather than turning his back or like pointing a gun at another artist and be like, "This is your fault. I hate just you." This is not about a single person. It's about the whole thing.
And oh God, I hate the word duality. I'm going to sound so corny now. Of usually it's the industry versus street and vice versa. Street hates industry hates street, tries to manipulate it, profit off it. He was shitting on the street guys too. Wasn't just the industry guys.
Yeah.
He hit both sides. So I thought that was also interesting because usually when people go this angle, they either go after one or the other.
Fun fact, real quick, in terms of just important dates throughout this timeline. The Pop-Out show was on Juneteenth. The Not Like Us video was on July 4th. The Super Bowl announcement, which was recent, and then the
guys drop something
surprise
on
drop
Halloween?
happened on 9/11. So people are targeting like other major
might
dates
drop something
coming
on
up as
Halloween.
potential release dates. Rory, you mentioned tomorrow is the anniversary of Pac's death.
Yeah.
Which falls on a Friday, which would be a release day. It's also a Friday the 13th.
Nah, he wasn't dropping on
People are
M's Day.
speculating that. People are throwing out maybe Halloween is another
Halloween
date.
might happen.
Drake's birthday is another date.
When's,
Columbus Day is coming up.
Columbus Day.
When's
Oh
Victory
my
over
God.
Japan Day?
True, yeah.
Damn.
Arbor Day, maybe?
Arbor Day.
I'm big
Arbor Day's in
in
April.
Japan.
What did they say
Damn.
about
Damn,
Arbor
now we
Day?
have to wait till April for the Kendrick album?
Yeah.
Because you know he's like money trees.
Hey, wait, niggas
Like,
be home really
you don't
trying
get
to,
it?
really, yo, they be having think pieces like this, like looking
Yes.
at every fucking holiday.
And those think pieces get 1.5 million views in an
Facts.
hour.
Oh my
Facts.
god.
Yeah. Oh, and
But
while
by the way, I think that's cool that happens now from this battle. Because now
Fan
people
lore.
are doing that breakdown, reactive shit to like real lyrics. Before that shit was reactions to bullshit.
Yeah.
I love the kids now that are doing these breakdowns because finally people are breaking down actual hip hop.
Yeah, but break it down like calendar dates, like and like where we
Yeah,
at?
man. I mean,
fan lore,
I like
dog.
it. People are obsessing
Part of fan
over
lore.
hip hop,
That's fan lore shit.
not
Facts.
over the bullshit
Yeah,
within hip hop.
But is it over hip hop or is it over two people that are at odds right now in hip
It
hop?
Depends on where
definitely
you go.
sparks from a back and forth and rap beef. But if that's what get these kids to actually try to,
To
understand lyrics,
and
I'm
shit.
with it.
Facts,
If that's
though.
what it
Thank
took.
you, Roy. Facts.
Of course, it was just because
That's
that was
being
going to get
missed.
clicks. But these kids are doing real research. They're not just bullshitting.
yeah.
So if that's what it takes, cool.
No, Warrior, now.
Damn, I thought I was about to kill these niggas today, but I guess like there's not much I can really disagree with them on. I know, I feel I did do a lot of pausing already and just kind of spoke on just how I feel like they was hop skipping over certain things in the song because there was a lot more layers in that song than what they were talking on, which is fine because they covered the important issues of the song, which was obviously the industry, things for a change. And Julian did point out a good bar for that, where I think he said something about which casket to choose, and it's like I didn't look at that way upon initial listen, but hearing him break it down that way, that definitely had given me a different look because I think he did follow with like they party more than bitches, what they working for, what they celebrating for, something like that. I was too caught up in that, and that's when I felt like he was kind of already, subbing. He wasn't talking to, but he was subbing Drake, which I'm still standing that he was subbing him the whole entire, not the whole entire song, but for a good portion of that song, there was subs towards Drake, and then it transitioned into what people now say is the industry or things that Drake embodies, but he's not talking to Drake, because that's just what I'm gonna say right now. It's like y'all are still saying it's Drake related, but it's not Drake, but it's the things that he embodies, which in my mind I feel like that still means it's referring to him, just not directly at him, which is fine because we don't want to direct this, especially with what I said earlier. Like if he catches flight, he's gonna be direct, so I don't want him being super subby. But Drake started to subby things again already though, so it goes back to a lot of things are just being twisted and turned, and it's really like making people's brains hurt. I feel like because we tend to have short-term memories. You can go back and play and see all this stuff in real time too, but like the message was good. I don't expect anything to happen unless these dates are real things, because these dudes are funny like that. It's funny how Maul tried to debunk that, but like these dudes barely be moving like that. Like M dropped on Friday the 13th. Like he's been doing things like this, so it's possible that he will drop on these things now. I'm not the type that will go and do all that research, but hearing all that, like Roy said, that's mad dope to hear because it goes back into like whoever is looking into that's really paying attention to like what that particular artist is doing and how they move, and it makes me happy because I feel the same way about when I fucking watch Eminem stuff. Like I be watching every little thing, being like, nah, this is what he means. Like this is exactly what he means. Like go back to this. So that's dope that they're doing that. So with that being said, man, before I get long-winded again, how do y'all feel about their stance on the song? Do you feel like they were hop skipping? Do you guys agree with them for once today? Because I feel like a lot of people be shitting on Roy and Maul, dog, which rightfully so sometimes, not because of Roy, but I feel like because of Maul and Julian. And where was Damaris at? Why was Damaris so quiet today? I wanted Damaris to talk today. But anyway, I'll be back with another one, dog. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm out of here. Peace.